You are in the right place to learn about sales with ease. Thanks for showing up today live. Those of you that are here live, thank you for listening in. If you're listening to this as a recording and you're not here with us, we'll do our best to really match your needs and get you going. So, the first thing I want to say about sales and about this training is that we approach sales in a very, very different way than most organizations. We believe here at Limitless Women that the work that we do is our calling. We believe that we have a divine purpose in the work that we do. And so I'm going to speak often about what can happen in the conversation currently when you're actually having the one-on-one conversation and what can happen in the long run for you to have a long-term relationship. So I want you to be thinking about what's happening as you're doing a sales conversation. I'm going to take you through the 7 steps that we teach in the process. I'm going to show you where to stop, where to pause, where to really engage with your prospect to make sure you're on the right track. And so I'll do my best with this. I'm going to answer some questions at the end. We'll probably record that for those of you that are interested in having this. All right. So sales with ease here is a little bit different at Limitless Women. Our goal is for you today to be able to learn the 7-step formula. We've got a great report for you. We've got script writing boot camp that we're working on if you want to go deeper. That will be a paid 3-hour workshop. So we've talked about that as an opportunity for you if you need deeper work than what I'm going to offer you today. But what I want to have happen for you today is for you to see how you can use these 7 steps to be able to really honor the process that you're in, honor the opportunity to be in a deep divine date with someone, whether or not they become your client right that minute. So it's going to be a little bit different than closing the sale with your features and benefits and a lot of the bells and whistles types trainings that other people offer. So hang in with me, and I'm hoping that it's going to be valuable for you. All right. So here's where we want to start. The presencing that I want you to have for yourself as a leader in your business is to really be aware of the fact that you have a business model that's unique. And your business model is going to be made up of 3 things. It's going to be made up of who you are working with. It's going to be made up of what they are struggling with. And it's going to be made up, number 3, of how you meet them where they are and you personally or someone on your team or some of your programs help them get over the finish line, help them solve a problem. All business is, all of us in all industries are here to solve a problem. Where sales gets tricky and where the process gets tricky in just marketing is we can be so many things to so many people. So in today's conversation, I want you to be really thinking about who it is that you work with, how you know that they are having a problem. They're going to talk to you about it. We're going to talk about how we get them to share that with us in this process, and then where you're uniquely designed to partner with them. And the positioning that's important is that you have to know going into this what your positioning is. So you don't want to go into a sales process with the idea that you're going to try to put your dress on that day and pull it all off. You want to know before you get into an enrollment conversation that you have a unique gift. There's something very special about how you do business that's different than how other people do business, right? In the same way I say the way we teach sales is different. And we know this because, there's a lot of good stuff out there, but what we see is what actually works in our world. So what I want to bring to you is the actual steps that's worked to generate millions of dollars, not only for our company, for other companies that we serve. And it doesn't come, in the big sales. It comes in the little sales. It comes in the one-on-one conversations. It comes in the gentle connections. So I want you to really be comfortable with who you are, comfortable with your business model. If you need some help with that, please reach out to me. I'll let you know in this call how you can connect with me and schedule one-on-one time with me if you're not already in a program, because that's really, this clarity is everything. And when you go into this divine dance of sales, if you don't have that stuff clear, it's really tough. It's tough to invite people into partnership. It's tough to get a sale if you're not clear about who you are and what you're doing. Make sense? All right. So the first thing I'll say is that when we talk about step 1 here, It's the psychology of I'm gonna move my screen up here. For us, it's the psychology of understanding our customer, and it's the psychology of understanding ourselves, right? Our presencing, our deep root and our positioning in our business versus posturing and trying to be something that we're not is something I'm gonna come back to again and again. When you understand that your client did not get up this morning and say, "Hey, I wanna buy something," what your client woke up with was, "Hey, I have a problem," right? It might have woken your client up at 3 o'clock in the morning. "How do I do this?" Right? What is the thing that's keeping them awake? What's the thing that's not working for them? This is what we call step 1. So, the psychology for us, step number 1 of the 7-step process, is twofold. It's the first fold that we go into this conversation knowing that this is a divine dance, that this conversation is an opportunity to serve, whether or not this person becomes a client, right? So if we sales is a numbers game. So if you are going to be a 10% closer, that means 90% of the people that you have conversations with are not going to become your clients. That's okay. It really is a numbers game, and as you start to get clear about who you work with, what they're struggling with, and how you can help them, and you ramp up your marketing and you ramp up your lead generation, and you are talking to more and more people, you'll see you're literally just sifting through the ones that are not your clients, and you're welcoming and creating space for the ones who are. So your psychology is that sales is not a scary thing, sales is not a bad thing, you're really shopping for your next partnership. Now, I use the language of partnership in our world because we believe that every woman is unique. We believe that every business is unique. We have systems and foundations and frameworks that really work to help our women become profitable with the underlying vision of our company of business as a force for good, right? And I'm just sharing that with you for the positioning of Limitless Women if you're new to our playground. We're not fooling around. This is our God work. This is our legacy. And so we approach this with a very different approach psychologically. Every conversation matters. Every opportunity to be in service is really an honor and a privilege for us. Okay. That's how we focus at Limitless Women. So that right off the bat creates a very different energy for your prospect if they're used to going to a place where somebody's trying to sell them something, right? Coming from that place of service, coming from that place of what's up with you? How may I be of service to you? Right off the bat shifts the energy into a very different conversation. Are you with me? I mean, anybody here on the live call been someplace you went to go buy a car and they're just so excited to tell you all about them, but they have very little interest in what you want? I think we've all kind of been there, right? So in our world, that psychology cannot be overstated. Before you get on a conversation, you want to get your head on straight. You want to really be in a place of gratitude and honor for the opportunity to be of service, right? And, we have gratitude practices, we have daily practices and self care that we talk about a lot in Limitless Women. I'm going to go from this point saying you've got your head on really straight and you're very aware that the person who came to the conversation is not looking to buy something. What they're looking for is to solve a problem, whether they're looking for they need their taxes done, whether they're looking for they need their management shifted so they have less attrition in their company, whether they're looking for healing their relationship, whatever your business is, that person has a pain point, and we're going to teach you how to uncover it with me. All right. Now, step number 2 in the process is where you build authentic relationships by being in the psychology of service, by being in a place where you're here 100% to be of service right off the bat, you've created a warmer space, right? Versus somebody trying to do something to you, you're in the invitation of partnership. You are looking for your next partner. You're looking for the next person you want to play with. So if you were meeting your next spouse or your current spouse or your next, person that's your best friend, let's say we're going to a conference, you're going to meet your new best friend and you get yourself dressed up and you show up and you fly there and you're there. How would you approach that conversation? You'd be really curious about the person you're talking to, right? You'd be thinking, "Hey, this is a person who's gonna be in my life for the next 10 years or 20 years or however long God gives us," right? You would approach that conversation with so much reverence and so much appreciation that you've just met your new best friend. Get the idea? So everybody has something special about them. If you can learn to fall in love quickly, this is one of my secret one of my secret superpowers is that I'm really good at loving people, and I find something fabulous about just about everybody that I meet. If you read my first book, you'll know this is not the way I was raised. It was something I definitely had to repattern in my brain, but it's not difficult. If you can look at people with curiosity and really want to know about them, and really come from a place of caring, warming up is easy. Get the idea? So you start asking some surfeit questions. You start wanting to know them. You wanted to know who they are, and you find something fascinating, and they tell you something like where they're from or what they, maybe they're really into their dogs. And you're like, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that is where you're going, right? So what you want to do is build trust. We all have heard the saying, we buy from people or we all buy from people we know, like, and trust, right? So it's no different for your prospect. You have to be somebody that they know, and you want to build that trust very quickly. With me? All right. So what you want to do is get to building that warm level of trust, and only after that trust is in place, then can you go into um, going into the deeper questions, the more personal questions. And somebody had asked before we started here, how do I move from kind of that discovery to the next step? I will say, don't skip over this part. Get really clear about what is going on for them. And one of the things that we often say is, if you talk to somebody, ask them how they feel about things. So if somebody says, okay, this is my problem, I haven't done my taxes, I'm behind a year, I'm feeling stressed about it. If you pause there and you say, how does that make you feel? And you might ask, is that showing up other places in your life? Is it affecting other places of your life? Right? What's it costing you not getting this handled? What you're starting to do is getting them to be real about what's working and what's not working. And when you approach this conversation, I cannot say this enough, but when you approach this conversation with your heart wide open and you're really here in their service, they will feel comfortable sharing with you things that they don't share with anybody else. I'm sure those of you that are live on this call have had the similar experience that I have, where people will say to you, I normally don't share this, or I haven't shared this with anyone else. And if you're in an intimate one on one conversation, sometimes the tears come. That's when you know you're really serving this person. That's when you know you're in a divine date, right? Dig deeper, because the emotion is where we actually make the decisions. We justify with logic, but we make decisions in the sales process as humans based on our emotions and our feelings. One of the reasons that we host live events is we know if we can get you in a room, especially for a couple of days, if we can really love on you, you're going to want more of that good feeling, right? In a one-on-one conversation, how can you use your words to create an environment? With me? All right. So the discovery place is where you dig a little deeper. You want to find out, what are they struggling with? What do they need most? You don't want to gloss over this. If you kind of are in the surface thing and you assume that you know what they need, you're going to lose the sale before you start. Okay? It just won't happen. So this is the place. I'm going to tell you that many, 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 many of my sales conversations, and I've been doing this for decades now, do not go past step number 4. Because in step number 3, if I haven't uncovered a problem, there's no presentation. Now, this takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of strength not to want to bounce into, I'm going to lose the sale if I don't pitch. But I want you to think about the difference of this. If you don't have a person in front of you who has a problem, why do you want to talk about your solution? Your solution is not applicable to who they are and what their life is. So you want to be smart and not go there. All right. So usually, we're going to go as if you've uncovered the problem. You usually, at this point, they've told you what's going on. You've asked a few questions about, is this showing up other places in your life? Is this affecting other things in your life? How do you feel about that? What you want them to do is start to feel uncomfortable, and you have to be comfortable with them being uncomfortable. Because if they stay in that glossy zone where everything's cool, right? We talk about that in our world. You're too cool for school, right? You got it all together. Well, then why are you here? They would not be on the conversation if they were not seeking a solution. Let me explain that again. This person has shown up. They've shared with you that they have a problem. You've gotten clear about what else is that doing for them? Like, where else is it showing up in their lives? And now you've got to start moving back to the clarity piece, right? Son, this is where information confirmation comes in. You're going to repeat back to them in their words. And you actually do this well, son. You're just not really, giving yourself credit. I don't think about this. Repeat back to them in their words what they said. Okay. So as an example, in our world, because we do business development and business growth strategy, it's very common that I'll meet someone and they'll say, hey, I've been in these programs. I've invested in stuff. It didn't work. I'm really good at what I do and I'm still not profitable. So I'm going to reflect back to them and say, hey, Joanne, have I heard you correctly? This is what you've tried other places. You've invested in XYZ program. You spent $5,000. You went through the struggle of fighting with your spouse about how we were going to pay for this, and it was really disappointing. And the cost of that is that you now have some challenges going to invest in yourself in a different way. Did I hear that correctly? And they're going to say, yes, you're on track, or no, you're not on track. But you want to talk about the pain. You don't want to talk about them as a human. You want to talk about the pain that they're experiencing and the action that they took that didn't work. And the reason why you do this is because when you move into step number 5, what you're wanting to do is uncover the objections. You're going to want it because I guarantee you, if you don't talk about what's happened and what the pain is and what they've tried and why it didn't work, then they're going to bounce right back and be like, hey, I really like you. I'd like to do this, but I've tried these other things. They didn't work. That's why your discovery process is so important. And you want to stay there and you want to stay there and you want to stay there. And it's not easy because we all want to be liked and we like to move on to the thing that feels gentle and kind and like, hey, let's celebrate and do the investment. But this is where the sale is made, my friends. The sale is not made at the end when you're buttoning up and getting your credit card. That's not where the sale is made. The sale is made in the beginning in step 1. Usually we can warm up pretty quickly, right? Because we have social media and we can find out things about people and start to like them. Usually we met them somewhere else or somebody's given us a referral. So warming up can go a little faster. This part takes time. It takes time to stay in the discovery. So don't be afraid of it. When you're moving to information confirmation, all you're doing is reflecting back what they said in their words. And you want to use their words. There's power in that because if you use your own words and you start assuming, you start moving into the sale, you're going to lose them. Got me? Okay. Now you want to say, hey, now we're going to move to this like, okay, you've information confirmation back. You've said back to them in their words what they said. You're really clear about it. They said, yes, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. That's exactly what I'm healing. Now, this is a really important step. Number 5. So, Joe, you told me that you tried these things, you made the investment, you're still not profitable, and it's stressing you out. You know you're here to do this work. You know that it's important that you grow your business, but you've got to start making some money because you've got to pay for your bills and support yourself, right? And your heart is telling you that you can see in your dreams, you can see in your vision a bigger piece for yourself, right? Am I right about that? She's going to say yes. Okay, cool. And you've tried the other things that didn't work, and now you've just been stuck. Why would you not want to get this handled immediately? Why are you not going to take action to solve this problem today? We have amazing resources other than dollars and cents. I don't know, again, if we're a great partnership at this point, but I'm feeling like you're the person that is exactly why I created these programs. I created these programs because I kept meeting women just like you, Joanne. that have a big calling on their life, that are really smart, that are well educated, they've studied, they've done their work, and they just haven't overcome this piece of finally being profitable in their company. Why would you not get this handled right now? Here's what you want to do while you're asking this in this step number 5 is you want them to say, I really need this. I'm ready to get it handled. Or I'm not able to do it because I've got 65 other things that I've already paid for that I haven't used. So get them to show up with that. There's no presentation at this point. You are not selling anything. This is the part that makes our process very different than other people's processes. Are you with me? And this takes discipline. So you have to now start pulling back and being like, hey, if you're not ready to solve the problem, I'm really glad that we met. I wish you the best. And if you would decide you ever do want to have a solution, you've got my information, you've got my number, give me a call. I'm ready to hang up the phone. Now, want to know what happens most of the time at this point? She's like, oh, no, 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 don't hang up. How do I work with you? And you know what I say? I say, well, I'm not convinced that you're ready to get started right now, so it doesn't really matter. The programs I have available right now may not be available in the future. So I don't want to offer you something that I can't honor at a time in the future. So if when you're ready, let me know. That's called a takeaway in sales. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. And I'm going to tell you, it comes from positioning. It comes from knowing your business model and being really clear about the value that you offer to your clients. And it takes some time. So if you're new in business, you're young in business, be gentle with yourself. It takes some time, it takes some practice. And sometimes you're going to fake it till you make it, but you'll get there. Especially those of you that are in the Business Accelerator, you're with me. I'm here for you, and you will rinse and repeat. You'll do your system, and it will come back like, oh, that didn't work. You're like, okay, well, maybe that's one of the 9 that are a no. Let's get you to the next one so we can get to a yes. And it does. And the weird thing to know about sales is this: it doesn't happen like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't happen. If you're closing 25%, it's not like no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes. It's not like a symphony. I wish it worked like that. All right. It's like you may be having conversation after conversation. You might have 20 conversations that are no, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, and you start doubting yourself. But then you might have 6 people in a row that are yes. You get into that zone where all the right people start showing up and you are in it, and it's fantastic. But sales is a discipline. It takes you continuing to practice. So when we are working with you in the accelerator, we're working on clarity in your messaging and clarity in your offer and clarity in your marketing plan. And you're driving consistent recurring traffic, consistent recurring leads. That's how you get to have consistent recurring sales conversations, and you will get better. I give you my word. And one of the things to do here in this part of the conversation is not try to sell. Don't push. Push causes resistance. It's an energetic block for you. Don't do it. It takes so much strength to do what I'm telling you because you really want to tell them. But wait, I can help you. And you might even say, I can help you, but I can't do it for you. So if you're not ready, it doesn't matter. So if she's chasing me, which is usually how it happens, how can I work with you? I will say, my prices are my prices. I can't change what I do. I have price integrity. We have investments and we have ways for you to invest in yourself from, free. We do free gifts on Friday, and we've been doing it since 2016 to $100,000 lifetime relationships. Since you're on the edge, $100,000 is probably not what you're interested in hearing about, right? Okay. Give your big offer first. We're moving now into step number 6. With me? We just kind of like moved here. She's chasing. She's like, yes, but if I could do something today, what would we do? That's when I'll say, We've got a big range, right? Free to 100 grand. At 100,000 in our world, you become a lifetime client. You no longer pay consulting fees. You now just make your consulting fees your charitable donation, and we continue to love on you for the lifetime of your business. We have 11 clients there. Okay. But it takes time to get there. Most people don't sign up right away for lifetime. They sign up for a program. If you were going to start with me today, Joanne, start using it today again and again and again. If you were going to start with me today, what could you comfortably do? And if this person comes in at, our accelerator, they're usually coming in somewhere like I could probably come up with about 500 a month. Great. So if we had a program, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying, lady. This is Katarina's super tip alert. Bing, bing, bing. I have not talked about the benefits. I have not talked about the program. I have not talked about the calls. I haven't talked about Money Matters Mondays. I haven't talked about our systems for clarifying your model. I haven't talked about any of that. This is how you close sales, my friends. If we had a program that was at that price range, is there anything that would keep you from wanting to solve your problem? You are my ideal partner. I know we can help you. I know that your target of hitting $100,000 a year or $250,000 a year is so achievable if you can just get the right support. And one of the things that's kind of cool is that we have systems to help you get an ROI on things you've already invested in. You're not the first person who bought something that didn't work, but we know what you need. And often you've invested in something that may be really great for your business. You just did it at the wrong time. So if we can help you today to get in action, is there any other reason why you would not want to get started right now? This is the process with me. And she's going to say yes, or she's going to say no. I have not given her pricing. I've not talked about our deliverables. I've not talked about features. I've not talked about benefits. I've talked about her and what she needs. Got it? So then I might say something like, she's like, okay, yes, I need to go talk to my husband, or I need to go to pray. So a few weeks ago, I need to go talk to God. I'm like, okay, great. How long does that take? God's with me all the time. So, do you need like an overnight? Like, what do you need? Are we going to talk tomorrow? And I said, and by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we should be able to have a yes or no. Yes, great. Okay. I mean, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend that, but sometimes there's still an objection here that you haven't addressed. But usually at this point, she's got a number in her head. And I'll be like, great, I have good news for you. So if you're ready to get started at $500. If we could get started right now at $500, you're in, right? Yes, I'm in. Okay. And remember, Joanne, you didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get fixed overnight. Our program takes a little bit of time. If you're in this with us for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, we can get you to where you want to go, excuse me. Okay. Do you feel like you can make that kind of commitment? Do you feel like you've been trying to do this on your own for the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever she's told you in the discovery process? Would it be really worth it if we could get you monetizing in the next 90 days? Would you be willing to commit to spending the next year to building a sustainable business that created consistent recurring revenue for you and your family for as long as you have the business? Would that be something you could say yes to today? All I'm doing is invite her to say yes, invite her to say yes, invite her to say yes. You get the idea? Great. We take Visa, MasterCard, American Express. How would you like to process your down payment? She's been, oh, wait, I'm not ready, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Or she's gonna be like, great, let me grab a Visa. I want you to get the distinction here. It's not about your offer. I wish Tish was still here, because this whole idea about the hook and the this and that has nothing to do with your sales. It's all about, she has a problem or he has a problem. Your company that you're talking to, if you're doing B2C, has a problem. The HR person has a problem. You have a solution. Are they ready to get going? With me? Okay. Now, what I might throw in, often I don't have to use number 7, the incentive for today. Usually I'm pretty good about, like, it's now or I'm leaving, because I got things to do and places to go and people to see. I have people that are ready to invest in their future. I got to work with them. They're invested. I want to get in there and solve their problems and keep growing. I don't have to spend time trying to prove that I'm good here on a call. But if I've got a person today, I'm going to say, great. One of the things I'd love to give you so that we can get started right now is I'd love to schedule an hour with you as a bonus of my time. I don't have I don't know, I have like a dollar per hour kind of this kind of piece for you, but I can tell you, if I look at my annual revenue, my time's probably worth somewhere between $500 and $700 an hour. I would love to give you that as a gift. So basically the $500 or the $367 that you're doing for your down payment at the accelerator, I'd like to just give you another hour. I'd like to get started right away with doing some one-on-one work with you privately. You're moving into this program where we are as a community going to support you. We are going to give you the systems. We're going to give you time to develop what you need. And I'd love to honor you and really get to know you and do some work with you. And so I have an assessment program that I use to help me know all about your business very quickly. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Yes, great. So we'll go ahead and process you. We'll send you an agreement. And I start talking about it like the sale is done. These are the next steps. You're going to hear from my team. We're going to log you into the deal. When can you fit me in for an hour? So today is Saturday. Do you have time? I said, I have an hour available on Wednesday. I could meet you at 3:00 Central. Fridays, I don't normally take calls, but I'd be happy to take a call with you today or this Friday. I'm home. I'm on the ground. I'm not traveling. Can you fit in an hour with me this Friday? I can do it any time after 11 when I get out of yoga. Get the idea? It's so gentle. It's not about pressure. There's no song and dance. It's not about the pieces. So I would say the things when you are looking for help with a script, understand that this is a numbers game and the work is your work in step number 1 in the psychology. The work is your work in the preparation. That's why we have our business accelerator to help you get clear about a business model that is replicable and scalable. Right? We know that when you have a great business model and messaging that matters, and it's tied into a marketing plan with consistent recurring communication, you'll start to drive consistent recurring leads. When you have consistent recurring leads, you'll have consistent recurring sales conversations. Then it just becomes a numbers game. And our goal is not to have you be a 10% closer. Our goal is to have you stand out in the marketplace and be so heartfelt and different that you start closing 25%. Can you imagine what the difference is in your business when 1 out of 4 says yes instead of 1 out of 10? The numbers start to go fast, right? So we believe that this is like dating. Marketing is warming up. It's getting to know people. When your marketing is done well, then your sales conversation is attracting exactly who you want to talk to. And they are ideal clients for you. So the sales conversation happens very gently. You don't want to get lost in there's something wrong with, this whole idea of I got to do more to be more. All of that doesn't work. Decide if you want to have an easy process and make it happen for you. Right? So just remember that this is a sacred dance. It is not it's a system that works, but it's also an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to help people. And if something that I am doing with you and you're not already in a program and you'd like to have a conversation with me, you can go to schedulemycall.today. We'll put something in here for you to have that where you can jump on a call with me and let's have a conversation about the clarity that you need in your business. Know that, again, this is just one of the pillars that we teach in our world. Every business in every industry has some frameworks that are the same, and every woman who has a business is unique. We want to make sure we match your unique brilliance with our framework to get you the results that you want. All right. So book a call with me if I can help you, and I will look forward to it.
Are you a limitless woman? This is your personal invitation to learn how you can join our online community, grow through our business school, and play with us at our live events. Go to limitlesswomen.com for all the details. That's limitlesswomen.com. Thanks for joining us.